Incremental routines. So now that we're familiar with the registries, we're going to see how we can select how we can select members in the registry. So I will be using the image registry. It could be any other registry. Okay. So if we go to the menu, we have view, we have those three options. Do you see there's like a section within the menu? Browse current, browse selected, and browse all. I have spent quite a lot of time in this rabbit hole, and what is documented differs for what actually SuperMemo does. I'm assuming it's bugged. At least I will do this video, so this is true for at least up to 19.1, in case this is fixed. Okay. So I selected one already. I'll be using this image as a reference. I have used this image already in some other videos in the course. So if I can go here, it's a shortcut to go to the registry. Okay. So then, I already did like a sitemap. I already did like this flowchart. We have browse current, browse selected, and browse all. And I will be doing always the same selection. Those two images that start with G, and handwriting, I will only highlight it without checking the box. And the other scenario that I don't check any box. I only highlight. So the one that is currently active. So what will be the difference in each case? Okay. So the documentation says browse current, Control B, display all elements that use the same current registry member in the browser. What do you mean by current? The one that is displayed. So the one that is now displayed in the, for instance, I click, you see you have the blue background, is highlighted, but is not selected. If you mean selected, means the checkbox. So the definition is already vague. Okay. Then, let's do that. I only have handwriting. It's highlighted. If I go to view and browse current, I get all of the images. Sorry, I get all of the elements that use this image. In other words, I get the registry users. I get the users of this registry element. Awesome. So actually, this has the very same effect if I click browse. This button in the corner. The exact same behavior. Up. Awesome. So actually, let me add this to the... okay, I will put it here. So we have seen this case. It goes 25 users. Okay, and it's the same that if we click on browse. Now let me check some other members, but they still have the handwriting one as current registry member. Let's do that. So are those two images? This one is used in 4 elements and this in just 2 elements. Okay. So I check both. Then I go to handwriting. So the current element, the current member is handwriting, but I have 2 that are checked. So now if I do the same, view and browse current, I didn't go to the current element. Sorry, I didn't go to the sorry. Oh my God. I want to use all of the nomenclature. So I didn't go to the browser with elements that use the registry member that was current. The image of the handwriting. What they got are elements, so users of the members that had the box checked instead. That's a different behavior. That's not what this should be doing. So here we have it. I got this experience. In this case, it's just 6, because it's the addition. One is used 4 times, the other one is used 2. Therefore, I have 6. Awesome. And from two members, the 2 that were checked. So what I got is not display elements that use the current displayed. Is what I got is current is understood as the box checked. Unless there are no boxes checked, then current means highlighted. What should be instead is that regardless of there are boxes checked or not, Control B, browse current, will only filter the one that is current, that is highlighted, the one that is in the right panel being displayed at all times, regardless if there are boxes or not. So instead of this, instead of those 6, I will have gotten the same. This is what I should expect. Awesome. Then let's one final detail. I also have the hint in SuperMemo, which differs from the documentation. It says, open a browser window with all elements that use the highlighted member of the registry. Highlighted member is handwriting. But if I have something checked, then handwriting that is highlighted is ignored, and then it opens the ones that are checked. And this has a name, and it's the second one, browse selected, adding the shift modifier. So actually what it does is browse current, as long as nothing is checked, and if something is checked, then browse current, what triggers is browse selected. Then, browse selected says, display all elements that use the selected registry members, in other words, members with the check mark on the left. Here is more explicit. Okay, so by selected, you mean check mark on the left, the checkbox. So those 2, right? And this is what happens. Do you see the arrow? It goes to the same place. I will get those 6 users from those 2, Greg and Gildo. Is what I was waiting for, what they would expect. Because that is the definition. Awesome. Then what about SuperMemo hint? Open a browser with all elements that use any of the selected members of the registry. It more or less means the same thing. All of them or any, because could be the case that some are actually unused. There are no users at all. So at the end of the day, it's the same. Okay, gotcha. But wait a second. What happens if I don't select anything? So I trigger browse selected with nothing selected, no check mark, no check box. You will be surprised, because if I do it, let me go to the same one. That's just a shortcut to go to the same place. Okay. So if I select those 2, and then I highlight handwriting, I will, and browse selected is what I actually expected. Awesome. But if what I do now is select none, so I have handwriting, right? And then I do view, browse selected, it does the entire thing. 1,212 members are all of the images in my registry. This actually is the same that if I go and select all. The exact same thing. So far, we have seen that, okay, browse all. display all elements that use all members in the current registry subset. So basically, this is the registry. I could do a subset. Let's see, let me do it on the image registry. Now this is a subset. So it will trigger of everything, regardless if it's selected or not, or is checked or not. It will trigger everything, because this is what it is, select all, right? So actually I verify this, and regardless of what they do, if they're selected or not, it opens the entire thing. But something should not happen is that if you click browse selected, but nothing is selected, it opens the entire thing. What should do is open an empty browser, if you let the user do it, or prompt, hey, there's no selection, you cannot trigger this functionality. Or what's the point? So therefore, we know that selected, in browse selected means bug checked. Unselected and current, in browse current, means bug checked. Again, it's the same functionality. Or if nothing is checked, then current means highlighted, which is what is intended. So to wrap up this video, and actually as a part of a bug report, also part of the course, if this ever changes, is that browse current should open. Yeah, I will just do bug report, not part of the video. So browse current should only open the current member regardless of the context. If there are more checked, ignore them, because then what's the purpose of this functionality if you have the one selected? So why do you have two if the first is being overridden every single time, right? Then browse selected, leave it like it is, it does the job, but then if nothing is selected, inform the user that none is selected, therefore nothing can be triggered, or just open an empty browser. Sometimes, now I cannot pinpoint something, I did it with templates and so on, you have this dummy that SuperMemo lets you trigger that when it will always be empty. So for consistency, you could do that. Unbrowse all, it's fine. And what I suggest is, again, the descriptions. It doesn't help at all. Because when I see this highlighted member, what do you mean by highlighted? So if you specify this that is blue, okay, I gotcha. Because this explicitly says members with a check mark on them. Oh, now I know what you mean by selected. So that is more or less the bug report for selecting members in any registry, by the way. I use the images because it's more visual, but I tried with some other registry and I reproduced that. I didn't do it in every single registry. I'm assuming, since this is shared, it will happen in every single registry. That's it for now. See you incrementally.